Hi, I'm Leo Bow, the President of Warwick Students' Union and a second-term sabbatical officer and a member of the NUS Welfare Zone Committee, and I'm running to be your next International Students Officer. I have a clear vision for an NUS International Students campaign which engages officers and students alike across HE and FE, across the nations and across the country, which empowers students to challenge their institutions and the government on issues that matter to international students on a day-to-day basis. I believe in a unified international student movement which involves home students and which really packs a punch when it comes to challenging the government on its xenophobic immigration policy. A vote for me is a vote for an immigration campaign which happens on time and really takes the government to task on its xenophobic and disgraceful immigration policies. A vote for me is a vote for an immigration policy which actually engages with home students and shows the government what it really means to study on a diverse campus. A vote for me is a vote for an immigration policy which looks at students beyond their financial worth and actually looks at what they contribute to the academic fields and also to the social communities that they live in on campuses. Because we have no choice but to campaign, fight and win in the public argument that international students are a social, public, academic and cultural good to British society. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which isn't the voice of international students but which lets international students find their voices no matter what kind of institution or background they come from. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which understands that going forward institutions will raise international student fees as much as they can based on the funding gap that they've been left with from the government's misguided higher education policy. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which understands that international fees cannot be based on what the market can bear, but rather that they are based at the very least on quality. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which actually inspires higher and further education institutions to actually think about widening participation in a global sense and has serious policy on asylum seekers coming into institutions. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which fights for more funding in overseas exchanges beyond Erasmus, so that everyone can have the opportunity to go on an exchange regardless of their financial background. A vote for me is a vote for ensuring that institutions aspire to send out as many students as they possibly can and winning the arguments with academics and management alike to ensure that the UK stops being the poorest at sending students off on exchanges. A vote for me is a vote for an international students campaign which finally has an open and honest debate with institutions and students' unions about overseas campuses. A vote for me is a vote for a campaign which ensures that all international students know what their rights are while they're studying here. A vote for me is a vote for a campaign which takes hate crime seriously and tackles it head-on and leads NUS in the fight against hate and discrimination across the country. A vote for me is a vote for developing unions and challenging officers and staff in order to build a truly united movement to ensure that international students aren't simply an afterthought on our campuses. Because we can't afford to have an international students campaign which continues the way that it has for the last few years. We need to renew and refocus ourselves to make sure that we know what the issues are that are affecting our international students on a daily basis and tackle them head on. We need to make sure that we have a proactive and engaging and inclusive immigration campaign which truly takes the government to task on its xenophobic and discriminatory immigration policies. We need to unite this movement. We need to make sure that home students and international students alike buy into the issues that affect international students and ultimately that unions themselves become champions of these students. So for an international students campaign that is truly engaging, truly inclusive and actually looks at the daily issues affecting international students, vote Leo Bow #1 for International Students Officer.